Hi, it's Rob over at the stucco moldings installed. The stucco moldings are installed level. They use a level to actually install it. And you can see if I peel back this roof stuff, they're touching in the back and then it wanders out. So I think the top roof line is out of level a little bit, which is not the hugest concern, but the bigger concern is that for whatever reason there's two layers of plywood here. It looks like maybe the first layer of plywood was put in and it was too short, and rather than removing it and extending a new piece, they just doubled up another piece on top. So these two pieces have to come out, and I think frankly this arch piece has to come out. We're going to get the roofers to come and torch this stuff to soften it enough to peel it back as much as possible. They're going to remove this 1-inch styrofoam. This is going to crack if I peel it anymore. We're going to remove this 1-inch styrofoam to expose the plywood, and we can remove the plywood, the two layers here, the two layers here, and frankly I think we remove this arch piece, because the arch, the end of the arch where it meets the flat spot is too far back. We have to have the arch continue down to here, which is actually where the underside of the plywood would start, and the new arch plywood should start up like that. So this plywood here on the arch actually needs to continue down to this point where the seam is here. So if we take these two pieces off, take the top arch plywood off, put a new curved plywood on that starts here in line with the seam, and one new piece. Now that we have the molding on, we know exactly how far to go. We put a new piece of plywood from this seam at this joint right here, level at the bottom here, not up top but down at the bottom, level across and stop it right here in line with the outside of the molding. Then the roofers can come and fold the stuff back on, torch it onto the single layer of plywood, and now all of a sudden all this stuff above here goes away, and that's a much more sleek profile as opposed to everything that's here. We've got an extra 1.5 inches at least between the 1/2-inch plywood and the 1-inch styrofoam, plus all the roof membrane. It's just too much separation from the stucco molding. Whereas if we can get rid of all of that, then we've only got about 1 inch from the top of the molding to the top of the ply, and they can just use a drip cap to hide that gap and it'll finish it off nicely. So we need to rip off the two pieces of ply on either side, the piece of ply across the top, redo the ply on the arch so that it comes down to over here, all the way across to over here. One new piece of plywood out far enough to cover the molding here, another piece of plywood from this point out to the end of the molding here, all the way back so that it runs towards the roof line, and do the same thing on the second dormer over here, because the same thing was the same basically installation was done. They stopped the level plywood too far in here, whereas it should have actually stopped back here, and the curved plywood could come down and continue to this point, so you have an arch continuing like that to here, and then have a single layer of plywood out much farther, at least 1.5 inches farther, to come out to here, and will be covered to the point where the plywood ends at the end of the molding. They got the roofers torch down the membrane, put a drip cap, and we're done. So we need to remove the arch and the styrofoam and the membrane on both dormers, get it done. What we need to do is we need to get the roofer here and a carpenter here with plywood up on the scaffold with a cordless skill saw and an impact, so the roofer can peel everything back, warm it up, peel it back, get it out of the way, unscrew the styrofoam, get that out of the way, and have the carpenter here right away, ready with a crowbar and whatever they need to peel this thing, to pull off this plywood. Have plywood up here with the saw ready to go, recut the new plywood right away on the spot while the roofers wait right here. Get the new plywood on, reclad it. They finish one roof, the roofers can start torching down the one roof while the carpenters go and fix the other one. Get it all done so we have the roofer and the carpenter here both at once, get both dormers fixed, get it all done, and we're off to the races. And these dormers don't look like shit anymore because there's not a 3-inch buildup on top of the molding. It'll only be 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and that'll look a lot cleaner, a lot better, a lot more finished, and less unsightly. Thanks.